We're talking blow drying today. I'm sharing all the tips and tricks I can for just a basic blow dry. I've been getting ready at my gym and I see women dry their hair a lot, and I see a lot of the same mistakes happening with different people, and probably they don't even know they're doing it wrong. So I thought I would make this video to help you if you have never been told how to properly blow dry your hair. Again, this isn't like a professional round brush blowout. We're just drying our hair with a brush. I wanted to keep it really basic for you guys. So I shared some mistakes that I've seen made, how to change those to have more success, and then just offered a couple other tips and tricks along the way. So let's get into it. Mistake number one is drying hair too soon. It shouldn't be dripping wet. Like if you can run your hand down and get a drip out of there, it's too wet. You're gonna waste time. You're doing excessive damage to your hair that you don't need to do. Either wrap it up in a towel for a couple minutes, as long as possible, or let it air dry. I find that my hair dries just in open air faster than in a towel, so I'll only leave it in a towel for a little while and then let it air dry for the rest of the time. But give it a chance to get to like at least 60 or 70% dry. The more air dried the better, unless you have a particular issue that you need to combat with heat in a dryer, like frizz or curls or something like that. Another mistake I see people do is applying their hair product like this. I'm ready. No, that doesn't do anything. All you're doing is spraying the outer part of this side of your hair. If you're gonna spray a product in, especially, this is the Oribe Foundation Mist, this is new to me, I'm giving it a try. But any kind of spray product that's like a blow dry primer or a heat protector or anything like that, make it work for all of your hair, not just the front top layer. So get your hands in there, lift it up, and spray it throughout. If you're applying a product that is like a serum, this is the Shu Uemura Ultimate Remedy Extreme Restoration Duo Serum that my colorist gave me about a year ago. If you're applying a product that's a serum, pump it into your hand, rub it through your hands, and then focus on mid-shaft to ends. But just like we were doing with the spray, go on all parts of your hair. Not just, don't do this. My product has been applied. You only got it on one part. So get your hands in there, open up your fingers, and rake it through all of your hair. You may find that you need to use more product, but if it's a good product for your hair, it's doing good things. For me, since my hair is at this length, I tend to get some tangles down here. So I like to put a little bit of extra serum, specifically on that, hold on, just stabbed myself. I like to put a little extra serum down here to keep this hair from tangling up pretty bad and sweaters and scarves and that kind of thing. So if you run into that issue, try that. This is probably the most forgotten part of hair when we're applying products because we focus on this area. The last product I'll show you how to apply is my favorite root lifter. This is by Aquage. This is the uplifting foam. You'll see in the nozzle here that you can apply it directly to your scalp and get that root lift going right at the root. So it makes it really effective. So what I like to do is just do a rough parting and spray it right in there. Look at how many sections I'm taking. A lot of people will just spray and be done. Go ahead and get it in there. Make it work for you. If you're gonna take the time to use it, make sure it works. So now the root lifter has been applied, I'll take my fingers, also open palms, and just rub that into my root area. So now that I've applied a bit of product, my hair feels a bit more wet than before I started. So I'll give it another couple minutes to air dry, and then we'll start the blow dry. So we are not doing a salon quality round brush blowout today. I'm doing a basic blow dry, straight, just let's get the hair dry in the best way possible. This is fast. I think a lot of people dry their hair this way. So I wanted to show you how to do it. So we've got the products in there. Let's get to the blow dryer. Another mistake I see is turning that heat all the way up to max. No, don't do that. You don't need to do that. Put it on medium. Just see where life takes you on medium heat. You're burning your hair dry if you put it all the way up to hot. If you have very frizzy, very difficult hair to straighten, let's say, You can bump it up to that hot setting and pull the brush through it to really smooth a particular section, but in general, I urge you to stay on kind of that medium heat range. It may take a little bit longer to dry your hair, but your hair is going to be in so much better quality than if you burn it dry all the time. So I will turn the dryer on medium all the way up to the fastest speed, and what you want to do first is do a rough dry of your hair before you start introducing a brush into it. So I want to get it to the point where it's like 85% dry or 90 before I start smoothing through it with the brush. Another mistake that I've seen people do before is drying their hair like this. Hi, I'm drying my hair. I'm gonna be here for 2 hours. That's not gonna do anything. You gotta move, girls. Turn that thing on, whip your hair back and forth, just like you're putting product in there. So you can see how I'm trying my best to keep the blow dryer aimed in the direction of hair growth. I'm not drying my hair like this. Look what that's doing to the hair. It's not what you want. Blow dry it down. Conversely, if you were flipped upside down to encourage volume, you would want to blow toward the floor since your hair would be hanging toward the floor. So I won't be doing that for you today, but that's a lot of times how I dry my hair at this point. I get it kind of overall dry by flipping upside down. It's a lot faster. The air just separates the hair, so that's a trick as well. Once we start incorporating the brush in there, you want to do the same technique where you're blowing the hair in the direction of growth. So it's always root to tip. You want to brush through with a flexible brush, preferably one that has vents in it. You don't have to use a vented brush, but a vented brush means that air is going through there, so it may make it a little bit faster. And you want something with bristles that have a little bit of give, since wet hair tends to be more elastic than dry hair, and you don't want to be ripping through it and kind of snapping it as you're blowing it dry. So I'll show you what I mean here. So I would just continue working my way around the hair, drying each section, brushing through it so I'm smoothing it out, always in the direction of the hair growth. And then when I get to the part area up here, I always part on this side of my head, so I like to blow it all dry with a flipped part, so on my right side, just to encourage a little extra volume. And I'll show you also, once I get to the bang section, how I dry this all forward so I have a nice swoop at my bang. So off camera, I dried my hair a little bit more, but I'm going to continue blow drying it this way and then flip it over to the other side. And then I'll just from there blow dry forward so you can see how I get kind of that soft swoop around the front. This is the easiest thing you can do. Even if you're not blow drying your hair fresh one morning, but you wanna just give a little bit more life to the hair right around your face, you can do this even on dry hair, but it'll give you a nice swoop and softness instead of your hair being like plastered back from having slept on it the night before. See how that gives you a nice softness right around your hairline there? Definitely try that trick if you haven't already. So off camera, I finished my hair after it was totally dry with a flat iron, just bending the ends under a little bit. But I do hope these tips helped you. The biggest takeaway I think I would tell you is to make sure your hair is either towel dried or air dried before you start. That's gonna save you so much time. Oh, but I also wanna say you have to apply the product by lifting your hair. You just do all the things and your blow dry will be so much better. You'll be so much more pleased with it, and do share your results with me. Come over to Instagram and send me a direct message. I love talking to you guys on there. It's easier than kind of clicking around to all these different places and reading comments. I'm always hanging out on Instagram, so if you have any more questions or if you had a good experience with it, I would love to hear that. So you can find me, my handle is right here. You can find me over on Instagram and join the conversation.